At Cairo, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Listen, whatever time of day it is, when you hear this message, I pray that your mind, your heart, your body, and your spirit are open to receiving, internalizing, and responding to words of wisdom. Ashe. You know, I remember when I was a much younger man, like 19 years old, I think. I traveled to Italy, and I went as a regular person. You know, my sister had gone to Italy about 5 years before, and she was an exchange student, and the family that had hosted her invited me to come and stay as well. So I did. And not on any official program or anything, I just, went. And in the process, I stayed over in Italy for about 4 or 5 months. And it happened to be the grape harvesting season. And so the host family got me a job and, let me go pick grapes with the other local folks. Fantastic opportunity because I got to hang out with a whole range of basically country Italians, you know what I mean? Like really regular folks. Young people, old people, middle-aged people. There's a lot of us out there, just walking the fields picking grapes. And I'll never forget one day we were out there and we were picking grapes, and I was there with a couple of girls, and one of them looked at me, and she was just looking at me, This is Italy back in, the 80s, and so I am certainly the only black person they had ever seen. And then she looks and she says, "È brutto." She said, "He's ugly." And the other one says, no è brutto. No, he's not ugly. He's beautiful. And I'm going to tell you something else. He has a beautiful spirit. I foresee that one day a black man just like him will become Pope and will lead the Catholic world to a new era. Now, this is like shocking, you know what I'm saying? If you understand the context, like we're in the country, and these are regular people. These are not university students who are like smoking a bunch of weed and pontificating about far out, ideas. These are regular people, real believers. You know what I mean? Like, so what this woman said was like from the heart. She truly believed that, and she said it with so much conviction. It was like prophetic in her heart. But what struck me in part was not only that, she had made this endearing remark about me, but that the other one was like really genuinely, she wasn't mad. Nothing had happened. She genuinely felt like, I was ugly. And so much so that she felt compelled to articulate it and say it out loud, And so I was really just there observing myself. Kind of reminds me of the book Invisible Man, Ralph Ellison, where to be a black man in Europe really accentuated the fact that there's a lot of imagination and a lot of very strong impressions of who I am and what I represent without me really having much say in the matter, or so it would appear. And I never forgot that experience. Really made a real powerful impression on my psyche, especially at that age. I was young, 19, 20 at most. And so If you don't know, this is the Orisha Lifestyle Academy, and I'm your instructor, Obafemi Orikunwa. And today what I want to do is I want to share some excerpts and, anecdotes that come out of a book that I have read called The Envy of the World. And it's by a brother named Ellis Cose, Elliscose. Ellis Cose, The Envy of the World. If you don't have the book, I suggest you get it and thumb through it or read it cover to cover. It's really filled with some powerful insights. Another one by Ellis Cose that is equally good is called Rage of a Privileged Class. Similar kind of a book, right? He's telling the stories of African Americans who are facing tremendous opportunity coupled with a astonishing degree of opposition, and digs into the psychology of like what we need to do to navigate this world to our benefit. And so I'm going to read some excerpts from the book, and if I feel so inclined, I'll say a word or two about it. But I think that what the brother has written pretty much tells the story well enough for you to draw your own conclusions and take the necessary steps to ultimately build a monument of your life that's worthy of the legacy of our majestic and magnificent ancestors. So before he gets into before I get into the meat of the text here, I want to read the inspiration for the title of the book, which comes from a novel by Toni Morrison called Sula, and it reads this way. I don't know what the fuss is all about. Everything in the world loves you. White men love you. They spend so much time worrying about your penis that they forget about their own. And white women, they chase you to every corner to the earth, feel for you under every bed. Colored women worry themselves into bad health just trying to hang on to your cuffs. Even little children, white and black boys and girls, spend all their childhood eating their hearts out because they think you don't love them. And if that ain't enough, you love yourselves. Ain't nothing in the world loves a black man more than another black man. It looks to me like you the envy of the world. That's from Sula by Toni Morrison. And apparently that's the inspiration for this very well-written little book. So now I'm going to dig into a little bit of these 12 points. Ellis Cose highlights 12 hard truths that he believes are essential to navigating the position of being the envy of the world. All right. So, to be born a black male in America is to be put into shackles and then challenged to escape. Those shackles are as daunting as any faced by Houdini. But just as the handcuffs, the prison cells, even the coffins that confined Houdini eventually bent to his will, the chains that bind us will yield as well, provided that we attack them shrewdly. Now that little piece stuck out to me because I used to be a public school teacher, and I used to say, I call that era my Houdini years, because what they were asking me to do made no sense. The content that I was asked to deliver, really, the students weren't in a position to receive it. There was a whole bunch of psychological, emotional, and spiritual work that needed to be done beforehand to prepare them to learn. So I would spend half of my time, more than half of my time, trying to heal and get these people into a position where they were poised to actually get a single lesson, right? We had to really diffuse a lot of stuff beforehand. And all that had to be done, of course, while we met the requirements of the syllabus. So that's why I called it my Houdini years. So he goes on to say, the trick, one of them anyway, is to learn where to spend your energies and where not to. And I agree with that, 150,000%. I can't tell you how important it is to focus. You got to have a focus. And your focus has got to be strategic. You can't be swinging at everything that the world puts in front of you, because they're putting a bunch of nonsense and flam in front of you as a general rule all day, every day. You're sifting and doing this calculus But the overwhelming majority of the things that you're working with are nonsense. They're useless. They have no bearing on anything at all whatsoever. You could ignore the overwhelming majority of everything that is in front of you every day. You could ignore it. It has no bearing on your life. It has no bearing on your destiny. It has no bearing on your happiness. It is a fake out. So you got to know how to focus. All right. Now, he goes on, and this is at page 149 I'm at right now, if you have the book or you get it. He says, the good news is that today's America is not your grandfather's or even your father's America. We are no longer prohibited from going after what we deserve. I agree. If you want it, you can get it. You know, you really can. There are much fewer barriers to your success. Fewer than ever before. There's a question of just, are you willing to focus? Right? Then he goes on to say on 150, still, if the one hand is all you have, that's like the deck of cards or the hand of cards that you've been given, this is your lot of life, this is your fate. Still, if the one hand is all you have, you must use it twice as well as your opponent. And because you have so much less room for error, you must fight strategically, understanding when to retreat and when to go all out and how to deflect the blows that will inevitably come your way. You must understand, in short, how to compete in this new arena where the rules are neither what they seem nor quite what they used to be. I love that little passage. I love that little passage. That to me epitomizes the ever-changing world that we're living in right now. You can do it. You can do it, but you have got to be strategic. You got to be playing chess and not checkers, right? Lots of calculus. So now he goes into the 12 hard truths, okay? Hard truth number 1. Play the race card carefully and at your own peril, okay? You know you black, I know you black, we know you black. Be black, right? That is all you need to do. You can show up in any capacity and do whatever you do. Just know that everybody knows that you're black. You need to know that you're black and then be excellent. That's it. It doesn't have to be said, right? Hard truth number 2. Complain all you like about the raw deal you have gotten in life, but don't expect those complaints to get you anywhere. I will go on to say, to be honest, if you're in an environment where your complaints are met with too much support, you're in the wrong place. Not that you don't want people to be compassionate and caring about your plight and your angst as a human being, but if you're in a place where people are just commiserating all the time, you're probably trauma bonding and you know what I'm saying, getting drunk in a pity party. Let it go. Move on. Go to a place where people are going to acknowledge, yeah, that was rough. What are we going to do next? That's got to be the vibe. Man, that was wicked. That was dirty. Oh, that was nasty. Okay, so what are we going to do next? That's got to be your vibe. That's got to be your tribe. All right? Hard truth number 3. Expect to do better than the world expects of you. Expect to live in a bigger world than the world you see. Now, when I was younger, I still do it now, but definitely when I was younger, around the time I went to Italy and in the wake of that trip, I made it a point to literally plaster my walls with the things that I appreciated. The world that I made the world reflect what I see, right? From floor to ceiling, I would put pictures of different kinds of stuff, cut out of magazines, people doing vision boards. You know, I was doing that as a young person. My literally wall, I would wallpaper my whole wall with images that reinforced what I wanted to see. Okay. And so that is something that I definitely agree with and I think is valuable. Create your world, right? And project that world out and expect that what you see inside is more important than what the world is trying to impose onto you. Hard truth number 4. Don't expect support for your dreams from those who have not accomplished very much in their lives. Don't expect support for your dreams from those who have not accomplished very much in their lives. You can't let people who've never gone where you want to go tell you not to go. Right? The Chinese proverb says, the one who thinks it's impossible shouldn't obstruct the one who's doing it. The one who thinks it's impossible should not obstruct the one who is doing it. Okay? So people who aren't doing it don't count. Hate to say it that way, but that's the bottom line. Right? If they're not doing what you want to do or doing what you're doing, yeah, they don't count. Right? You hang and listen to the ones who've already done it. And you listen to what they have to say. You watch what they actually have done. And that's what matters most. If you're about, accomplishment and progress and fulfillment of your destiny. Hard truth number 5. If someone is bringing out your most self-destructive tendencies, acknowledge that that person is not a friend. Okay? It's crucial. They're not a friend. They're not a lover. They're not a wife. You got to separate yourself from that situation. Okay? It's not about blaming people, but it's about recognizing, whoa, this dynamic is a perfect cocktail for self-destruction. I don't need to be here. I don't need to be doing this. Okay? And you need to extract yourself from any environment that brings out your worst tendencies. Hard truth number 6. Don't be too proud to ask for help, particularly from those who are wiser and older. That in and of itself is a whole series of books, not just a book. That's a whole series of books. You have to figure out a way to get crazy about getting advice from qualified elders. You really do. You gotta be crazy about that. Like you really that is like gold. That is gold. There's some older brothers out there who are doing hardcore great work, and they've been doing it for decades, and they would love to give it to you, but they don't want to waste their time. They don't want to waste their efforts. They talk to 50 million people a day, and they don't have time to be, going back and forth with you, trying to convince you that they know what they're talking about. So, I want to impress upon you how important it is to streamline your process by associating yourself directly with black men who have accomplished the kinds of things that you want to accomplish. Hard truth number 7. Recognize that being true to yourself is not the same as being true to a stupid stereotype. Okay. Now, that can be tough because depending on what your environment has been, what you're accustomed to, your normal might be unhealthy, right? What your friends and associates, your family members might primarily be people who are kind of backwards, and the stereotype might look like your reality. But what I want to say about that is there's a version of yourself that existed before the conditioning kicked in. There's a vision that you have of life and yourself, of the world, that everyone else is not privy to. You have an inner vision. You have an inner self-concept. There's something that deep inside that lets you, it reminds you that this isn't you though, right? You come from this and you love this person and you hang out with this guy, but there's something else for you, right? This really isn't your thing. You're just born here, or you just came up here. You just know these folks. You got to be true to that. Your inner vision, all right? Hard truth number 8. Don't let the glitter blind you. Don't let the glitter blind you. That is, don't sell yourself cheap, right? When you have a little bit of something, as you start to come into yourself and you start to progress and you get some traction, you're going to attract different kinds of opportunities. Different kinds of people are going to come towards you. Different kinds of women, different kinds of money making opportunities, different kind of associates, right? They're gonna be drawn to you. But you got to think really big. And basically, here's my formula: what is the likelihood that this would compromise my ability to accomplish my ultimate vision? If I had to, choose between my vision and this pathway, my vision and this relationship, my vision and that money, would I sell? Would I compromise my vision for this? If the answer is even, I don't know, then you should don't even entertain it for another second. That's how you don't let the glitter blind you. Okay, you got to stay focused. You got to constantly clarify, what am I really about? Hard truth number 9: don't expect competence and hard work alone to get you the recognition or rewards you deserve. Now, I used to have a supervisor, a sister named Dwayne, and this is when I was like, maybe my first corporate job. And she says, you got to put a feather in your own cap. I didn't understand what she meant. She's like, yeah, you got to put a feather in your own cap. It's like, you're kind of waiting for people to recognize that you did a good job. But what you need to do is you need to go and wave this in front of the right people's face. When you get accolades, this customer said that they love what you did, or you troubleshot this thing and averted some calamity. No, you need to bring that right up to my face, and you need to tell me, hey, look, this is what happened. This is how I worked it out, and it could have gone this way, but this is what happened. Right? It's very important. It's not just doing a good job. It's not just showing up every day. You've got to be able to toot your own horn. You got to put a feather in your own cap, and you have to let people know that that's what that it was your work that produced the certain kind of an outcome. Likewise, you got to be along those same lines. You've just got to be willing to do what is necessary to promote your cause. You got to be cunning to a degree. You got to be flexible. You got to have some other kinds of conversations, and you know what I mean. There's a lot to be said about that, but I think you get the general idea. Hard truth number 10: you must seize the time, for it is already later than you think. Trust and believe. It's already later than you think. I don't care if you're 19, if you're 17. If you're hearing what I'm saying, look, the train left a long time ago. The train left a long time ago. You don't have to be in a hurry, but you don't have the privilege of dilly-dallying. You got to be stepping, and you got to be consistent. It's not about being extreme. It's about being consistent. All day, every day, as long as you are alive, you need to grind a little bit every single day. All right? Because the train left. You're already behind, is what I'm trying to say. And people don't like to say it that way, and gives people anxiety and, destination, paralysis and all this kind of stuff. All that's true, but cold hard truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. You're behind. You're behind. The wealth gap between blacks and whites is like astronomical. Astronomical. I think that they say the average white child is born with something like 75% of what he needs, the 75% of the wealth that he needs for his whole life. And as a black child, you're born with a deficit, right? So you just have to accept that fact and pace yourself, because you have the opportunity, but it's not gonna slow down because you're moving toward it. Hard truth number 11: even if you have to fake it, show some faith in yourself. Okay, now this is slippery. This is tricky because you can, I don't want to give the impression of you're, compensating, right? Sometimes I see people go overboard. They're doing too much to project an image of confidence, and so they do ridiculous things to look like, Mr. T, right? Sound like Mr. T. I don't think that's necessary. I think that's counterproductive. But showing faith in yourself looks like taking risks on yourself, right? It's like getting out there and doing simple things like trying something on your own. If something is broken in your house, your car is broken, you need to, I don't know, sew a button on your suit, something, whatever. You need to cook a meal. You need an answer to a question. Have a little bit more faith, or try to exude more confidence in yourself to say, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. I know I can do that. And, if necessary, you may need to create some space. Give me 24 hours. And that's enough time for you to go and check with other folks and get the answers. But, don't count yourself out all the time, basically. Don't undercut yourself. Don't undermine yourself. Say, yeah, I can do that. I believe I can do that. And find out what needs to be done and do it. And if it doesn't work out the way you expected, then you've learned something along the way. You make notes. You figure out why it didn't turn out the way you expected. And you correct. Next time you get a little closer. Right? Last but not least, hard truth number 12. Don't force innocent others to bear the price of your pain. Okay? That's something that I learned from a friend of mine. It's like, yeah, Femi, you might wear the hard hat and you go out there, and swing the hammer all day, every day. But your kids don't have to do that, man. Let them be kids. Let them, be free and do their thing. You go out there and toil in the rock mines. That's for you. And I've tried to live by that, and I think it's been beneficial to me, and I appreciate the outcomes I've gotten so far. But those are my excerpts from the Envy of the World. And as I stated, I hope that through this particular conversation that you can go about the business of constructing a monument of your life, bit by bit, day by day, so that in the end, you can look your ancestors in the eye, and when they ask, what did you do with my sacrifice? You will be able to smile from your heart and point back over the hundreds and thousands of deeds that you did in order to deliver on the ancestral promise. Many blessings to you and yours. I look forward to your feedback and insights. Aboro aboye, aboshishe.
Yeah.